I'm bringing you a guest.
You're bringing me a guest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have your nephew Moshe Davloi with me?
Oh yeah, he's not coming to me. He's going to Peretz probably.
Where you going, Jacob? Says he's coming to you.
Is that so? I'm honored.
There's better Wi-Fi by you, Jacob.
Oh, I hear. Okay. We recording already?
Yeah.
You hit record?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we started the Mishnah yesterday. So
Probably not before 10 to 10.
I wrote 10 to 10. 9:50 is 10 to 10. We never write not before. We know it's not before.
Naftali, stop. He's just chappering you. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't answer him. He's just chappering.
Okay, so let's just the Chaz in the Mishnah. We don't have to read it inside. So the Mishnah is on Tzadi Chesam Bebeis. So the Mishnah is talking about when you borrow something from somebody. So if the lender decides to send it with his own people, and then something goes wrong before it hits the borrower, so then the borrower is potter. The clock doesn't start kicking on the borrower's achrayus until it gets to the borrower's hand, unless the lender asks the borrower about it, or the borrower asks the lender to send it with somebody, and then the clock starts ticking. It's on the borrower. It's on the borrower from when it hits his shliach or whatever it is. Right. So one of them was an eved. So the Gemara asks on top of Tzadites, B'yad avdei chayiv, yad eved k'yad rabbi. How can you say that if he sends the animal? The assumption always is in these Gemaras is that you're borrowing an animal. So how can you say that if the mashil, the lender, sends it with his animal, so then sends it with his eved, then the shayl agrees to it, so he becomes responsible. Yad eved k'yad rabbi. We know that the yad of eved is the yad of a rabbi, which we had in 2 days ago's daf, 3 days ago's daf. So how can you say that it already hit the borrower's reshus? So Amar Shmuel be'eved ivri deloy kanile gufei. So about an eved ivri, because only an eved knani are you kind of. You're not kind of an eved ivri, right? That's one teretz. And Rav Amar afilu tema be'eved knani. Rav says a gediv on eved knani. Nasika oimerle. It's like he said, meaning we look at it as if the borrower told the lender, Hikisha b'makal v'hi savai. He's basically telling him, I don't need your eved to bring me the animal that I'm borrowing from you. Just hit the animal, and the animal will start walking, and the animal will make it to me.
How's he being mechayev himself over here?
What?
How's he being mechayev himself? It's not his rishus.
Yeah, so Rashi says he's being meshabed his nefesh.
Based on what? Where's the Maisa?
What? The Maisa, I'm assuming, is the hitting of the. I mean, the lender told the borrower told the lender to hit the animal with the stick, right?
And in the first case, if it was an Eved Yisrael, that would also be that is if I'm being mechayev myself.
It certainly would work with an Eved Yisrael, I think.
Well, it's also Nasa Kaimerla in the first parts?
Yeah. I don't know, it's Nasa Kaimerla, but
that's not what the Gemara says. The Gemara says it would be mechayev even without Nasa Kaimerla.
Well, what do you mean? The next teretz in the Gemara?
I'm saying Shmuel's teretz, the first teretz. We have it every.
Wait.
How are you? In either case,
you're asking on Shmuel.
It's not in your rishus yet. In either case, it's not in your rishus. Even if it's an Eved Ivri, it's not in your rishus in the first teretz of the Gemara.
No, but in the first, he's just.
How is he assuming a charayz if it's not in his rishus?
Because this guy's his shliach.
The Eved Ivri is the shliach of the mashal, not the shoyl.
No, but when the shoyl agrees to it, then he becomes the shliach.
Why? That's my question. What is,
Why not?
even if he agrees to it, it's just words. It's not
Why?
it's just how's he mechayiv him if it's not his rishus?
Once it goes, it's as if it went into his rishus when the guy becomes a shliach.
The guy became the shliach of the shoyl?
Yeah, I
I
think.
thought isn't he still the shliach of the mashal?
Not when they agree, not when the shoyl asks to send it. I thought that's the whole point of the Mishnah. I think. I could be wrong. But anyway, so Rav says that he hits it with the stick and it comes. So Meisvei, we ask Kasha from a brisa, shoyl a para b'shulchaloi. If somebody borrows a para and it was sent to him, right? So then and he sent it. How did he send it? Biyad b'noi biyad shluchim chayev. If he did it in his hand of his son or his shliach, right, of the mashal of the lender, chayev. Right. So again, here, why is he chayev? Because he made him into a shliach. Biyad abdoi potter. But if he sent it in the yad of the eved, then he is potter. Even, and Rashi says, even if the borrower asked to send it with the lender's slave, he's still potter. Bishlam or Shmuel. So it makes sense. Shmuel must listen be'eved ivri, brayse be'eved knani. So there's no steer between the Mishnah and the brayse because the Mishnah is talking about an eved ivri, like we said. In the brayse is talking about an eved knani. So yad eved ki yad rabbi. So therefore, if the lender sends the animal to the borrower, so it's just an extension of his hand. So you can't be chayiv. El Rav Kasha, according to Rav, that the Mishnah is talking about even an Eved Knani. So then why would the Mishnah he be chayiv and in the Brayse be potter? So Rav tweaks it. He changes it. Amalach Rav loitem and nasik amarle. It's not make it as if he told him to hit with a stick. Ela ema be amarle. Somewhere where he told the lender to hit the animal with the stick. Hikisha v'makol v'hitavei. Hit it with a stick, and it's going to come. Right? If he said it already, then that's considered enough of that he's masking that this thing should be sent to him, and therefore he's going to be chayiv. The itmar, because we learned the shilani parascha. A guy goes over to a fellow and says, "Lend me your para." Biyad me, and the lender says, "Who do you want me to send it with?" And he said, "Hit it with a stick and it'll come." Once it leaves the rishus of the lender and it dies, chayiv is chayiv. Name him a sayele. Let's say this is a proof of shilani.
The self-driving cars now.
Oh, yeah, I hear.
Just program it to the borrower's house. That's it.
Right. I wonder, Taka, if you would do that, you program the car to drive. It would call l'chayra. That would be the same. That's what I would think. Right. Anyway, so that's the proof. Name and say. So let's say we have a proof to it. Another proof is Shilani Paraska. He says, "Lend me your cow." V'amrale biyad mi. V'amrale hikisha b'makov yisav. Kiven shiyotzin v'shus mashul l'meisa chayev is chayev. So l'chayr, that's a straight up proof. Amar Rashi, but Rav Ashi said no, it's not necessarily. Amar Rashi, hacham mayaskina going shahoysa chatzera shoshoyel lifnim mechatzera shomashel. It's talking about with the chatzer of the shoyel, the borrower's chatzar was inside the chatzar of the mashal. What do you call this type of property? Right? We have to walk on one guy's in order to get to the other guys. Isn't there a name? Whatever it is. So it was no big deal for the animal to go from the lender to the borrower because it just walked towards the inside. So when the lender sends it, vadai lahasam azlas, it's going to go there. Where else is it going? So maybe that's why that Bryce says that it works, but otherwise it doesn't work. So then what's the chiddush? The Gemara says, of course it's going to run. At some point, it's going to run into the borrower's property. So my answer is like there are gezaisa, meaning in the chutzner of the lender, there's these corners, like these little hiding spots. So now the same maybe the borrower is not samech his das that the cow is going to make it to him because maybe it'll just hang out in one of these hiding places. Till Makaima Hasa, maybe it's just going to stand there. Ozla Lahedjin, it will not just go straight into his property. Kamash Malon, the Samchadaite. But it's teaching us that he's still Saimach his das. That's the Chiddush of this Brisa. He's still Saimach his das. Okay, so Omar Rav Huna. And now we get into some more dinam of Shomrim. So Omar Rav Huna. Hashoyel karda mechavera. If somebody borrows an axe from his friend, right? I mean, here's a regular case of shayla. Boka boy, kanu. If he, by the time it starts working, it's not good. Boka boy, kanu. If he, what do you call it? If he chopped wood with it, then he's kain it. Loy boka boy, loy kanu. If he didn't use it, he's not kain it. Right? Which sounds like a chiddush. You borrowed somebody's axe. You bring it to your house. If you didn't use it yet, you're not coin it. So what's in the geya? I'm going to ask.
What do you mean, Kenyan? You're a borrower.
So then I'm a shomachinam. What am I then?
Well, what's the Kenyan on? I'm trying to understand. What's the Kenyan on?
Becoming a shimer.
Well, if I'm a kabel to be a shoyl, then by me making a Kenyan, so I automatically I become chalois shoyl.
There's two steps. I need to be makabel to be a shimer, but I also can't be a shimer on something that's in your rishus. So something needs to put it into my rishus. That's called a kinyan.
Is it a real kinyan or it's just
we have it already. It's a chatzi kinyan. But it
by
needs
an
something.
Animal when he takes an animal because he wants to plow. He didn't plow yet. He's just walking home with the animal. Why is that different? He didn't plow yet.
Maybe schlepping the cow.
So what? He's schlepping the axe. Taking the axe. He picked it up. He's taking it home.
See, that's what you think, Benny? That's what you think?
This is Rav Huna. We don't know what Rav Huna holds with the cow, right? So maybe Rav Huna holds different than the other man's armors. And he says you have to do something with it. You have to have a baseball play in order to be a football play in order to be it's yours, right, So
yeah, but I'm not so sure if that's is that
I mean there's no chalosh unless there's a kinyan made.
You have to do something. That's what Akiva was talking about before. You have to do something in order to show that there's some sort of agreement. I guess I don't know if that's the way to say it. That there's some sort.
I can't just agree with deeper. I have to do something with kinyan.
Yes. The fact that I took it to my house is not enough of a.
So let me ask you something. So if I put something,
why is it different than a cow?
If I put something in my shred's house, he's borrowing it, let's say, and I put it in his house. If he didn't make the kinyan, it's no shayla.
No, once it's in his house, it's in his house.
Well, I put it there. He has to do.
We're trying to get a shmira, a kinyan on shmira started before it enters his rishus. Technically, if it's in his rishus and he accepted shmira, he's a shaymer. There's no way about that. Outside his rishus, there's a problem. It's not in his rishus. What's he a shaymer on?
I don't know what's in my rishus. Zev brought it to my house. How do I know what's in my rishus? I don't know. I have no idea.
So then you have another problem that there's no agreement. That's something else. He's talking about when there is.
I asked Zev.
He wanted to borrow something. He brought it by. There's no kinyan.
Rabbi, maybe he put a couple of cannolis in the fridge.
No, there was only one. There was only one.
There's no hope of getting those back.
Well, I mean, isn't what you're asking the Gemara's kasha essentially?
I think so. Yeah. That's the next line of the Gemara. What's the difference between a cow and an axe?
No, it's even more than that. let's see the kasha. The one says
But by the way, Rashi explains that there's no Inyan Mashiach, according to Rav Huna, when it comes to Shmira.
Well, that's
the reason why you're not mechuyev yet, because Mashiach doesn't work.
The
Right, we
by
did have this. We had this exact case.
quasi-kinyan.
He doesn't hold Kinyan when it comes to Kinyanim. He doesn't hold Mashiach works. To be mechayev.
Ever or by Shmira?
Shoyal, if you're borrowing.
I think only by
Maybe
Shmira.
he doesn't hold the
because
Mashiach in the Torah.
Shmira needs a different kind of kinyan.
well,
Or he doesn't hold the Mashiach in the Torah, which is machlekes in the Gemara.
Yeah, but that's a, oh, yeah. I don't know.
Am I asking Krum or no?
No, you're not asking Krum, but that's essentially what the Gemara's next kasha is, I think. Let's second. Lemai, Ilay Meloin, the Gemara says, what are we talking about for Einsim? Maishna para de Misha Sheila. Why is there not a para? A para, the whole shaila in the Mishnah is when is when does the borrowing time kick in? That's the whole shaila in the Mishnah. But once the borrowing time kicks in, even if the borrower never saw the animal, he's chayiv. Right? That's what Gershon was saying when it goes into his rishos or whatever it is. Right? So what are you saying here? Right? It can't be for Einsim. So what is it? Ela l'chazara. It's only for chazara. Meaning, if the lender, Rashi says, the lender regrets it, right? Then meaning because he borrowed it, let's say for a month. He borrowed the axe for a month. Then after the axe, went out, somebody called up the lender and said, by the way, this guy could do some serious damage with this axe you just lent him. So is he allowed to go get it back from him? So as long as the guy hasn't used the axe, that's what we're saying. That's all it's negaya. Right? Fine. So the Gemara answers, I'm sorry, where did I leave off? Right. Elul chazara baka boy. If he chopped with it like matzi hodabe, mashal, the mashal cannot go back. Loy baka boy matzi mashal hodabe, then the lender can go back. Right. Yes, and then there's a whole tumult here, exactly like you're saying, Zeb. What's going on over here? Because it sounds like the shoyel cannot back out. Right?
What do you mean the shoyel can't back out? Only the mashal?
That's what Rashi keeps saying. I don't know. What's with the shoyel?
He can always back out until he's a shoyel.
What?
Until he's a shoyel, he can back out. Once he's a shoyel, all he has to do is return it. The kol yimei she'ela is only negeya for the mashal. The shoyel can return it at any time.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying that's.
It's the other way. It's only negeya for the mashal because he agreed to something, a 30-day she'ela, that it's not going to be in his rishos, and now he wants it back. Well, you can't do that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But then they have another shaila also. In addition to that, is where's the kinyan? Who says chopping wood with an axe is a kinyan? Right.
Well, do you need a kinyan if it's in? If he's in possession of it.
If that's what you're going with, then yes.
So the whole point of this quasi kinyan for shmira is only when it's not in his rishus. If it's in his rishus, he doesn't need a kinyan. What do you mean? Let's say this quasi kinyan is just to show that it's in his rishus.
Let's say it was in the forest or whatever, not his rishus. Hefker.
That's the point. So if he hasn't done anything with it, then there's no kinyan at all.
If he did, I mean, I guess maybe he picked it up. I guess that would be a hakbah.
Yeah, but there's no reason to say that that's for she'ela. Until he uses it for she'ela, that's the point by the act.
Right.
Until he uses it, he'll still be chayiv. As soon as he picks it up, he's chayiv. That makes him a shoyl. But it doesn't cement the shayla until he uses it.
Right. I hear you. Okay, so let's see Vaito. Pliga. So now again, he's saying that meaning basically he's saying that Mashiach does not work as a kinyan. That's essentially what Rav Huna is saying. He's saying it's the regular standard Mashiach doesn't work. And the guy, until it gets used, the mashal can back out. At least the mashal can back out. So the Gemara says, Pliga the Ravami, disagrees with Ravami. Don't Ravami, Hamashal Kardam shall hektish. If somebody lends a kardam of hektish, may mal lefi toivas hanosha, by meaning if you lend out the axe, meaning the whoever's in charge of the axes in the Beis Hamikdash lends out an axe, right? So the one who gives it out is the one that's over on Me'ilah. But there's no hana. What there's no what?
Not the one that uses it?
What hana is he getting?
The one that uses it?
The one that uses it doesn't go. The one that sent it out of the hektish.
So the person that uses it doesn't get any ism.
Correct.
No, this meal already when he uses it.
He gives out the axe. So the one that gave it out is the one that's over on Me'ilah. Right? So but the question is
Naftali,
Naftali,
the Rechnitz called the Gabbai. He said, I need an axe. So he got Toivus Anaba giving Rechnitz the axe. That's the meal. That's the meal.
What kind of hana is that?
That's what Gemara says.
The
Toivus hana. The kickback, basically. Right? A heintiger way of explaining
and the person that
hana.
actually used it and got the real hana doesn't have any issue with Migala.
Correct. That's always the way it is.
How did we get to Bava Metzia and not have that yet? So
no, we had
We had at the end of Bava Kama.
Yeah, we didn't have
We had it in the Darim, we had it.
oh, I meant the whole everything I meant from everything.
We had that. We've had it.
But the person being
there are cases, Naftali, there are cases where the person who uses it is Iver. They're very few. It's the person who stares hektish.
Yeah.
So here, the person who stared hektish is the gizbar, the one who gave it out.
Yeah. So anyway, so he's the one that's over. But what is he over? It's only for the Toivus hana. Right? I mean, the kickback that he'll get because he lent out the axe to this fellow. What's your name again? Naftali. I'm tired. Yeah, it's hot in here. I know. Can you imagine? I forgot Naftali's name. There you go.
You just call him Pinchas or Pnina?
Pinchas. I have no idea why I called it.
A man named Zlata. Yeah, that's it.
I have no idea. The friend can actually, it's already out of hektish, so he can use it. So if you're going, if he wasn't kained yet, so my mal, how can you say it was moilet? Right? Why is he allowed to be bakeh with it? Nahadre, let him give it back to hektish. And then he's not going to be kained and he's not going to be moil. But since Rav Ami says that he is, that means he disagrees with Rav Huna. That's all. Rav Ami holds you don't need to use the axe in order for the borrowing to start.
If you have hektish and you go ahead and say this shouldn't be hektish, something else should be hektish.
You're asking a different kasha. You're asking a different kasha.
All of a sudden, it's so easy to have hektish.
But that's your stomach heck. We'll see on Amar Beis again, the same similar Gemara. But either way, point is Rav Ami.
Why is it a kasha from Chazara? Rav Huna's maskim that for Einsim the shoy was already high. It's just Chazara. The mashal can be chayzer.
Yeah.
Why can't Rav Ami hold the same thing? And he compares Me'ilah to Einsim rather than Chazara.
We're asking from Chazara.
Yeah, but why is Chazara the issue here? As soon as he got the axe, he's a shoyl. The shoyl started for Einsim.
Because then it's not Me'ilah.
Why? He lent it. The lending is the Me'ilah.
But like Rav Huna could go back.
Okay, so it can go back, but he's still a shayla.
Yeah, but there's nothing happened. There was no transfer of rishus.
Maybe it doesn't need a complete transfer of rishus. As long as I can say that I am chayiv in einsim now, then it's already to a certain extent not in hekdish's rishus.
Yeah, I hear. I don't know. Yeah, I hear. I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, you were trying to make an extra knach in there. I don't know if I hear that.
I'm not. Rav Huna made the knach. Rav Huna said there's 2 stages of shayla.
Right. Okay, we got it moving. So let's go. Pliga. Well, he also disagrees with Rebbe Lazar. Pliga to Rebbe Lazar. Rebbe Lazar. Kedero shetiknu meshicha b'lekucha. It's the same way they were masakin meshicha by lekuchas, meaning when you buy something, you have to do meshicha. Kach tiknu meshicha b'shayimrim. They were also masakin meshicha by shayimrim. That shayimrim have to pull things, right? And yeah, it's the same way. Satani, which obviously disagrees with Rav Huna, because Rav Huna said it doesn't work. You have to actually use the axe in order for the kinyan to actually take place, that the mashal can't back out. The same way they were masakin that somebody buying something has to do mashicha, they were also masakin mashicha b'shayim. Ukeshem on Talmud Beis now. Shekarka niknas b'kesef u'b'shtaru b'chazaka. The same way you can be kind of karka land with kesef, shtar, and chazaka. Kach schirus nikna b'kesef u'b'shtar u'b'chazaka. Same thing with schirus. You kind of with kesef, shtar, and chazaka. So Gemara asks, schirus maya vidite. What does schirus have to do with anything? Right? Meaning it's multiple. The Gemara has multiple questions here. Right? What kind of chazaka do you have without a mashicha? Right? And also, you can't. Meaning, well, that's not all. That's. Meaning, if it's what do you call it, karka? So it needs a legitimate. You can't even do mashicha on karka, right? And stam, you also need So we're doing kesef and shtar and chazaka on schirus. So Amar Ochista schirus karka. No, we're talking about schirus of karka. Then the way you do schirus of karka is with kesef, shtar, and chazaka. Right? But it's not referring to stam schirus. It's referring to schirus of karka. Fine. Another din. Amar Shmuel. Yeah, this is back to hektish. Haiman de gozel chavitza de tamri bechaver. A guy stole a, what do you call it? A cake of dates. You know, the dates, they stuck them all together. Right? Seems like that's the food to go in Bava Metzia. That's the cake. That's like the example for everything in Bava Metzia. A cake of dates, of figs, dates, right? And it's all together. And a guy stole it from his friend. And there's 50 dates that are stuck together. If you would sell the whole cake, it would be sold for 50 minus 1. It's interesting. Why doesn't it say 49?
I learned from Spheres Ha'im and Shavuos, which is the Inyan of the Yoma. It's like 50 minus.
That's a good point. But can we say that by the Lamites Malachas, right? Doesn't it say, the Gemara say it's 50, it's 40 minus?
The Mishnah says, Arbayim Chasar Achas.
Right. Could it be, without saying any fancy Torahs, that's just the way they counted? Right? There's all sorts of Torahs why it's 49 and 40 Makas, 9 Makas, Arbayim Chasar Achas. Right?
Yeah, well, the Machals Abayim, they got the 39 because the Rabbanim were darshan, but not because it's Bayim. Rabbi Yehuda get the whole 40. But in Parshas B'Midbar, we're holding by Parshas B'Midbar. It goes through all these different cheshbonis. You don't see one of them says chaser. It just says 74,000, 62,000, but there's nothing minus 1.
First of all, I was getting that technical. Second of all, I think maybe it was the Gemara's times that's where they count. Anything with a 9, they went minus 1. But I don't know. I just a thought. Anyways,
it's always better to look up and to have a higher number
I said,
bid it up and then come down in price.
Raham, I said, I'm trying to stay away from that.
Yaakov, you're saying that's where all the groceries got it. The Yiddish groceries, that's when everything ends in a 9. The price is 9.
They
It's
got
just
that
as
from
good as
Goyim.
far as everybody else has why it's 9. But that's
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know if it's the Yiddish. It's every grocery.
I'm saying the Yidden maybe were the first grocers. That's what I'm saying.
That could be. That could be. Anyway, so it's 50 minus. It's 49. Bottom line. If you buy, if you.
How much is a pruta worth?
40. You buy bulk, you get a penny off.
How much is a pruta worth?
You get a thing off.
Yeah, I'm saying we're talking here about one pruta difference.
No, it's got to be more than a pruta.
Why? If you still
prutas, it is pruta, but it's a pruta.
saying,
Not less than a pruta. You're saying less than a pruta. It's not less than a pruta. It's a pruta.
okay.
Right? So
people really like dates, though. They didn't have to give them a lot off. They put up the whole wheel.
well, yeah, but anyways, no, but you buy the whole thing, the whole cake of dates or whatever you call it. So then it's 50. You get 49. One pruta. It's 49. You get one pruta off.
It's a wheel of dates. It's called a wheel, like a wheel of cheese.
That's really interesting. I had to do that one. Sorry, Rafa. Anyways, chada. But if you buy each date separate, misdaven begimel. Binun, I'm sorry, my eyes are going. Yeah, it gets sold with 50. Right. So meaning individually, it's a little bit more. So lehedyet mishal chamisha lechichada. If he stole it from a hedyet, meaning from a regular person, you pay 49. Lehektish mishal chamishim b'chumshayu. For hektish, if you stole it from hektish, because we know when you steal from hektish, you got to pay for it plus a fifth. So you have to pay 50 plus a fifth. Masha'enkin b'mazik. But if you just damage kodshim, the loy mishalim chumshi, there you don't pay a fifth. So amarmar ishki yochel kodesh prat lemazik. It says a person eats something from hektish that comes to exclude. It's excluding a mazik. So what do you see? You see from here that paying back hektish is much more chomer than paying back a hedyet, right? You have to pay back a human, you pay the cheaper, meaning there were two options here. You stole something that could have been either worth 50 or 49. So Gemara says you only have to pay back 49, the cheaper. Why? Because it's a hedyet. For whatever reason, the Torah has rachmanis on damagers. That's hashkafically, I have no idea why that is. It should be fakert. But okay.
Yeah, what you said last night, Yaakov. Yeah.
So what?
How you make in Choshen Mishpat means you mark the other fellow.
Right. So here you're being makel on the damager, who's the one that damaged, right? And you're being makel on him. If he did the hektish, though, you're not makel on him. That's the yisoid.
And all from people hate woke, and the Chumash is woke.
Hey, you're very woke with that. Yeah, that's a new. Yeah.
We damage hektish.
You damage hektish, you pay 50, which is the upper end of the two options to pay back: 49 or 50.
Right.
You damage hektish, you pay 50. You damage a friend, a human, you pay 49. That's all. That's what the Gemara is saying.
Why is that a kula? I would think it's a chumrah to pay 50. The value of the wheel of dates is 49. By hektish, you have a chiyuv to maximize the value.
Oh no, but the point is that you have two choices. Like David said, you're saving one pruta.
What we say? We said the 49 and 50 between hektish and regular person is by a thief.
By hektish, hektish
if you
by.
steal from a regular person, you pay 49. If you
Correct.
steal from hektish, you pay 50
plus
and
a
plus
fifth.
a fifth. If you damage, you don't pay the fifth.
Correct.
So
You damaged hektish.
You damage hektish. When you say damage a regular person?
No, when you stole it from a regular person, you pay 49. And damage too, both. You pay the cheaper price.
I'm just saying you said there being more. The only thing that being more makeable by damaging instead of stealing is the fifth.
No. We're not talking about the difference by hektish. We're talking about the difference in a human and hektish.
A human and hektish.
By a human you pay 49. By hektish you pay 50. Forget about stealing, damaging, no difference.
Right, everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So you're saying that to be more makeable damager.
To a human. To a human.
Right.
Point is a human is more makeable. All right. So maskal or Rabbi Barabai lahedjed amayim mishalim chamisha nechichada. Namely, no chada chada mezavninu. Why can't the store owner say, what do you mean? I planned on separating each date to sell, and I would have made 50. Why are you only paying me 49? Right? He's saying, like your market for not for resale, when you buy in bulk, it's not for. This guy had it marked either he didn't care, which you see sometimes, right? Or he says, I am marking this for resale, and that's it. So why don't you pay me? Why should I lose out a pruta? So my answer is, this is going back to in Bava Kama. I actually remembered this. I have no idea why. Right? Shaman base saw. You evaluate a base saw in that field. Meaning, this was something that we also had a hard time understanding. If I go into a guy's huge field, let's say it's a 10-acre field, and I go into one corner of the field and my animal goes in and eats 10 feet worth of grain. Right? So now you can calculate it two ways, probably can calculate more than two ways. But the two basic ways to calculate it is, okay, how much grain how much of this guy's yard or field did you ruin? So, you ruined this and this amount. I could have made $100 from the grain that you destroyed. That's one way of looking at it. That would be the more expensive way. Or you can take the entire field, you go to a real estate agent and say, hey, here's the field. How much would you pay for the field in mint condition? And the guy says, okay, it's $10,000. He says, well, what happens if one little corner of the field that this guy damaged is there? So how much are you going to pay? He says, I don't know, maybe $1. I'll take off $1. So then what the Gemara is saying, all you have to do is pay $1 damage. As wild as that is, because Lamaisa, you cost the guy $100 worth of damage. You don't have to do it because you look at the entire field. How much is it worth less? Right? We said this 2 days ago with the car also. You scratch somebody's car. Really, halachically, the way you look at it is not how much it costs to fix the scratch. It's how much less is the car worth, right? Then because of this scratch, which is usually very minimal. Right? So that's meaning for whatever reason, it's exeris akasav, Rashi says. I think Rashi says it as somebody says it, that it's a exeris akasav that the Torah has rachmanas on the damager for whatever reason. Shouldn't make sense to us that we should have rachmanas on the damager. If anything, it should be rachmanas on the damagee, if there's such a word like that. Okay, fine. Now the Gemara continues with another kasha on Shmuel. Again, Shmuel is saying that a din hedjit is more kal than meaning he pays less. Remember, the Savar Shmuel din hedjit lav kedin gavayadam, that they don't have the same din. But now we learned in the Mishnah, not all even oikara mehektish. We go, Naftali, you ready? The guy took a stone or a beam from hektish, right, and he put it into, the Gemara there says that he put it into a skylight. So he didn't change anything about the beam. Because if we would, he remembers. There you go. So if you changed the beam or the stone from hektish and avada, that's called taking it out of hektish. But here it's talking about where he just stuffed it up in a skylight. So he did nothing, no shinui in this thing at all. So he's not mild. Meaning if he himself took it, the gizbar took it and put it into the skylight to close it up, he's not mild because he didn't do anything. Of course he has to give it back. No, if he's nene from it, then he'll have to give it back. He's gonna be Avram Milu. Right? If he gave it to his friend, who mal, he's moil because he gave it away. His friend is not moil. But if he built it into his house, I'm sorry, I jumped the cases. The first case is he stam took it. Right? So he's not moil. If he gives it to his friend, then he is moil. The second case is Bona B'Soy Pesa, but if he built it into his house, loy mol, until he sits under the beam worth a shava pruta. All we're trying to say from not all we're trying to do, what we could say from this is selling
the house is not being moil.
That's what we're saying. You put it into the skylight, so you didn't.
So he couldn't sell the house before. Now he could sell it.
Well, because
a house with a skylight's worth $5,000 more than the house without the skylight.
I hear, but I don't think he had direct benefit from it yet. When he maybe
okay.
I don't know what would be Taka. If he sold the house, would that make it as I don't know. Either way, the point is that he put it under the skylight and he didn't yet sit under it. Once he sits under it, then the game is over. But he didn't sit under it.
No.
Now, what Shmuel is saying is, if somebody lives in somebody else's house, what we call
Squatters.
squatter, but that's Zenen of Zaloi Chaser. You need to pay. Meaning he has to pay. Right? So meaning he's equating, the point is that Shmuel, and we quote Shmuel, he's equating damaging or taking from a hedyot to taking from hektish. He just said on the top of it, and Shmuel said that there's a difference between a hedyot damaging and damaging a hedyot and damaging hektish. And then here we see that he's learning the same thing out. He's learning the same thing out, one from the other. Shmuel changed his mind from this Mishnah. All right. And he's not going to learn anything out from hektish to regular people. All right. Yeah. So the Gemara says, who says that he was chayzer on this one? Dilma meha. Maybe he was changed his mind on the date, the Kate, what do you call it? The wheel, the date wheel. Right? Maybe he changed his mind on that one, that they would both pay 50. Who says, meaning it's a stira, whether you learn out the damaging of a hedyot from hektish, if they're the same or not. So we say, okay, Shmuel changed his mind on the second one with the squatter. He changed his mind on that. Okay, who says maybe he changed his mind on the first one? So Gemara says, he changed his mind from the beam. Because hektish without das, meaning by mistake, but we should have pointed it out with me'ila is also by mistake. If you did it on purpose, that's not me'ila. Me'ila is if it was done by mistake. So saying hektish shaloi midas is like a hedyot midas, right? Meaning because Hashem meaning I think that's what it has to do with, right? That Hashem knows what's going on. Yeah. So the Rashi says Hashem knows. Hashem knows. So doing something without knowledge from hektish is the same as doing something with the knowledge of a hektish.
Hektish belongs to Hashem, so he knows.
Right. That's right. So he knows exactly what's going on. Yeah, so Omar Rava. So Rava said, Hani Shkuloi, the Tavru Chavis, another case. Hani Shkuloi, these carriers. The Tavru Chavis, the Chamra Lechanva, like the classic, the movers busted something. So they busted a barrel of wine for the store owner. So B'yamid the Shukim is Davin Behei. When it was a Yom Hashuk, it gets sold with 5. B'shar Yom is Davin Ba'arba. And when it's not the Yom Hashuk, so he's only going to get 4 because there's less. So how much do you have to pay? So meaning how much do these guys have to pay for damaging? So if they give it back in the Yom Shuka, just give him back another thing of wine, and he'll sell it for 5. But on the other days when he's only going to get 4, hey, right? You give him back. They have to actually pay him back 5. There's a different girsa. Right, and the way the Shulchan Aruch also says it, I think the Shulchan Aruch says Dalid, right? Yeah, and that gets into the whole deal of how much, when it was stolen, how much was it worth, etc., etc. But either way, let's go with hay. I mean, they have to pay hay. That only said he has to pay hay where he has wine to sell, and he didn't sell it. Meaning, if the guy still has wine in stock after the Yom of the Shuk, so the damagers, the movers that damage can say, hey, we don't have to give you 5 because you didn't even sell the other wine that was in stock. So why do we have to pay you for what you would have gotten in Yom of the Shukah? If you sold out, okay, so then we have to pay. But you didn't even sell out. So how can you tie it to us that you would have sold it for 5? But if he had wine to sell, he should have sold it. Right, so therefore, even in the Yom of the Shuk, when they have to pay 5, it's only if he was sold out. And then another thing is umankile agar tircha. They also subtract from what they have to pay the store owner the tircha that it takes to sell the wine, the mei barzanais, and also the amount of money it takes to open up the barrel. I guess it took some. It cost money, meaning it costs money to make money. Right? We said this, but I gave it to when we were talking about somebody backing out from doing work for somebody. So you get paid like a pile bottle. Right? He didn't do the work. So how can you pay him like a full, like a guy, the classic case, a guy came to me yesterday and asked, he tutors and the kid doesn't show up. So does he get paid? So yes, he's supposed to get paid, but you're not going to get paid your whatever money you're charging for tutoring because you didn't tutor. So you only get paid what the minimum wage, let's call it minimum wage, right? So the same thing here. The movers could say to him, we'll pay you for the barrel, but we don't have to pay you a full barrel because it would have cost you gas to get to the shuk. It would have cost you money to hire a guy to drill open the barrel. All that, you wouldn't have made your full 5. You would have made a little less than 5. So that's what they don't have to pay. Okay, we'll stop over here.
Okay.